playing a lot of marksman and solo.
No, but he is playing a lot of Ornn, and funnily enough, so far, 2 out of 2 Ornn bans directed towards Fnatic. They definitely want to take Rekkles off one of his comfort picks at the very least. Interesting that we're seeing a Zoe ban coming out from Fnatic, and very fast bans. Feels like both teams have a pretty clear idea of what they want to do in this game.
Well, I'll ship that statement at the end.
All right.
I'll ship that statement at the end.
Watch how quick these picks come through. Instant, first pick. So, Taliyah or Vladimir, those have got to be the priority right now for Fnatic.
All right, but what else is up and available? Because it feels like everything, if Taliyah maintains the win-loss record, although Taliyah in the jungle not been as awe-inspiring as I had hoped, definitely showing a lot of impact throughout the course of the previous plays, and it is a first pick Karma. So Fnatic bucking the trend.
What? Okay, so yes, very big flex pick for Karma. Definitely seems to be like a, well, we did see it from H2K yesterday down in the bot lane. It was picked slightly later in the draft, largely because there's still a lot of strong things up and available. We've already talked about the Taliyah, we talked about the Vladimir. Camille is another big one. We did see Amazing bring that out yesterday. And I just feel like you're giving a lot of freedom to Schalke right now.
And you know what? It goes back to your statement, Vedius. Teams know what they want. They know they wanted Karma with Taliyah open and available, and it's flexes for days. We still don't know where this Shen will go. We still don't know where this Camille will go, despite the fact that obviously, as you mentioned already, Amazing has played it, not going Taliyah yet.
Yeah, typically when we have seen Camille over in the Eastern Hemisphere, it has been primarily put into the jungle position. Shen has usually been played top, but we have seen quite a wide range of variation as well. Already though, Schalke setting up for a pretty cool engage with both the Camille and Shen combo. Now, this will be a first for us in Europe, not a first worldwide, but it looks like that we are going to be getting the Nunu Karthus.
What do you think of Nunu Karthus? I've seen a few plays already that remind me back in the day of the Empire strats, you know? Charge up the absolute zero, fire down the Requiem. It's not being locked in yet, but I expect it to be. And wait for the few seconds to go. No! It will be a pivot. Now the question, is this Rekkles Kai'Sa?
No, it's Caps Kai'Sa. I'm almost certain
I just have to ask. Unfortunately, I have to ask it.
Oh yes, Twisted Fate. We got a bit of variation in the mid lane. That's the exciting stuff. We get about Nunu Kai'Sa. We got a TF coming out from NukeDuck. Look at all the globals. QuickShot. I feel like this is becoming more and more relevant in the current meta. We've been seeing Taliyah, Talon, Aurelion Sol, Nocturne, Shen. So many things that are really good at going from one lane to the other very, very quickly. Twisted Fate fits that role perfectly, and it means let's camp bot. If we know they're going to run a double support down there, if we know they're not going to put Rekkles on a carry, and there's not going to be a jungler in the game because he's spending all his time getting caps fed, let us just shut that 2 versus 2 down and do exactly what Misfits did.
Now, yesterday, NukeDuck, of course, ran that Kale in the mid lane. Today, the Twisted Fate has all of the options for ganking, but what AD carry do you pair with it, or what champion do you think Upset is going to play? Because there's a lot of synergies. You go back far enough, Twisted Fate Ashe used to be a thing as well.
It's very true.
I'd be excited if that is the case. The last bans, by the way, Dr. Mundo, Fiddle, Pyke. And there's one left for Fnatic before Schalke start to answer some of these questions around where this Camille and Shen will end up.
So it looks like the Fnatic are taking away some of these more hard-engaged supports away from the bottom lane. Remember that Shen could still go into that support role. There is a lot of flexibility. Hell, Camille could even go into the support role if you really wanted to. It's not too far-fetched, even though we haven't seen it that recently. But with a final ban out from Fnatic, Lucian will be it, and they're going to try and take Upset off one of those big carries that you were just talking about. The question is, where will they look to prioritize right now? You have quite a few options here. There's a bit of a hover over Kog'Maw. Rage-Blade AD carries are still relevant in the current meta, but we haven't seen a huge amount of it unless it's an answer to things like the Kai'Sa.
Well, the question I then have, does this give you more or less confidence that that Shen is going that direction? Okay, now the question remains the same. It is going to be the Varus. If you think back just a couple games, Hansama was phenomenal. You can see just how OP that player or that champion can be in the right hands.
Yep.
But I still am not making sense of where the Shen would go. I guess it's
Shen top right now. That's kind of what I'm looking at. It also speaks to why they banned away the Mundo, because Shen will struggle to be able to apply a lot of pressure in that top lane, and also he'll eventually get outscaled. Well, this is looking to me right now. Oh, Fnatic. Are you going to do it? Are you going to finally make the Fnatic fans happy? Put Rekkles on a carry, or will he be the one playing that Karma? Looks like it is Rekkles on support once again.
Which one?
It'll be...
This, you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure he'll be on Karma. That is
okay,
what
so we're gonna go Singed top, Nunu jungle, Kai'Sa mid, Karma Morg. That's
do it, Chachi. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Schalke,
Come on.
will they have a response? Now, yesterday, when Fnatic played this funnel strategy, it was outplayed by decision-making and early game influence from Misfits. Renekton, Twisted Fate, Shen, these are all early game impactful champions that have options all across the map.
Yes. Now, when you look at Schalke's composition, as you rightly identified, early game, Renekton still very prevalent during the laning phase. He's had a bit of a buff recently with the changes to Essence Reaver, which we can cover more about when we get into the game. But Camille, very effective early ganker. Varus, once he hits 6, has plenty of setup. Schalke are basically saying, we've got loads of options to start fights, start skirmishes, start plays, and our goal is to limit caps as much as possible. Fnatic believe that their execution was what let them down yesterday, but they can pull it off today. The slight difference is Rekkles is on a pushing champion in the form of the Karma, and they have a little bit more safety in the Morgana with the Black Shield. So if Caps is able to get ahead, if Caps does get that farm, you're looking at an unkillable hyper carry that can solo carry the game.
Execution, implementation, communication, and the question was answered. Will Fnatic pivot? Will they change? The analyst desk spent a lot of time asking those questions. I'm going to shine a light on Schalke. Are Schalke practiced, prepared, and capable of shutting down this funnel strategy? Yesterday, Misfits proved they were. Now Schalke will give themselves a shot. They are 1-0 up on the week. Maurice Amazing Schneider, the new jungler for Amazing. Let's see what impact he can have and whether or not he can shut down this Kai'Sa Nunu composition. Vedius, is it as crucial as stop the early jungle pathing, much like we saw yesterday?
We heard from Ender's breakdown at the very start of the day in our pre-show ready check that there are a couple of things that you need to limit when you are playing funnel strategy. And that is simply that when you're running the funnel strat, you're investing not only a full wave of minions into the champion, you're investing all of the jungle. And you want to try and deny that as much as possible. Right. If he's going to take all the jungle, fine. Don't give him any mid lane farm. If he's going to take the mid lane farm, fine. Take away his jungle. Misfits went for the option of very early on into the game, trying to deny as much of the jungle as possible, especially towards the bottom side of the map, and distinctly trying to shut Caps down specifically. Finding kills onto him allowed their mid laner to stay even, the levels were not that bad, and then once they got to those mid-game team fights, Kai'Sa was not that much farther ahead, and so you basically just had 1 damage dealer versus 4, and Misfits were guaranteed to win every single fight.
The whole point of a funnel and the whole point of the strategy is when you have so much stuff that you need to pour into a nice, neat container.
Yes.
But there has to be a lot of stuff being funneled into that funnel.
Exactly.
I used the word in the definition. It's not great. And of course, that is what Fnatic were denied this time around. No early interruption yet.
Yes.
So an early start. This is already a little better from the Fnatic POV.
Exactly.
Let's see what happens later from Schalke.
It's very surprising that Schalke just decided to go for a standard start. We've got to turn our eyes to top lane because Bwipo is getting very low.
All right, let's take a look. Vizicsacsi forced a flash, fling into the minions, but the tower shot! Bwipo! That was unlucky.
Vizicsacsi came so close to losing his life, but Bwipo didn't have the damage to secure the kill, whereas Chachi did, as the tower gave him a hand. First blood goes over to Schalke.
Today I learned it's not never chase a Singed, it's never chase a Renekton. Ends up being turned around, and that's a very early advantage to a champion. You do not want to give early advantages. Renekton, if they get ahead, can absolutely take over the map and take over the jungle, and all eyes will be on Chachi.
Yeah, and there's so much to talk about as well, because we want to talk about the Renekton, we want to talk about what's going on with Fnatic, and we've also got to look at this bot lane as well, because the thing is, Rekkles is still on a support, but with the Karma and Morgana, you have way more push than you did before. When you're going up against the Shen as well, the Black Shield makes it hard to go all in, but someone who's not afraid to go all in is Bwipo, because he knows that with the stacking poison, knowing he's going to get level 2, he flips him over, he thinks he has enough damage, but the heal from the Q of Chachi, along with the fact that there was a tower shot in there as well, meant that he was able to turn around that kill. That should have been a kill for Bwipo, but a couple of small micro things allowed Chachi to turn it around.
It's such a difference being in range of the minions. Now we take a quick dash down bottom. Vander's little taunt there didn't really result in too much damage. But Cole the Meek, it is a game changer. And it really proved to be the case. So Schalke up 700 gold. We touched on that bottom lane. You can see Upset and Vander shoving in again and again. But Rekkles and Hilly, they've got themselves teleports as well. So they can play around the map a little bit later once this global style starts to take effect.
So a couple of things that we need to now keep track of is the levels and the farm that is going into Caps. If we could just flip over to the gold very quickly, you can see that Caps is sitting at about 1,700 gold, which is only a little bit more than NukeDuck. That is effectively a first blood advantage over his technically mid-lane opponents. And you can see an equal deficit coming out from Broxah, who he is 400 gold behind. So this is kind of how the funnel strategy works. It's the first time that we're seeing it used more effectively here in Europe. And what that results in now, Caps being level 5, he's looking to complete the jungle item to even increase the amount of resources that he can get from the jungle. And so far, Schalke are doing nothing to really limit the amount of farm and experience and gold that Caps is getting.
And of course, the inverse there, Vedius, is that Amazing is the one with that is 400 gold up over Broxah. You can see Schalke, they are trying to do something. Here's the play, gold card is propped, is primed, is locked down. Caps is simply killed, and a teleport channeled and cancelled by Hylissang. The fling comes back from Bwipo, tower shot there, number 2 onto Chachi, but with not enough mana for a poison trail chase, Bwipo can't do more with that. It's not done yet. Will Amazing fancy himself a die?
Go on, Amazing, you can get it. Make the play. You do have the flash up. Bwipo has nothing.
We're going to find him this time. He's going to look for that hook shot. Bounces down the lane, but as it stands, Schalke, second kill of the game, extends that gold lead a significant amount, and that was just catching Fnatic unawares.
Yep, I thought that was really good from Schalke. The roam up from Vander, the collapse in from Amazing, very well coordinated gank, and it was all set up to kill out Caps. They'd set up vision along through the jungle to make sure that they wouldn't get spotted out. And their goal of shutting this guy down is basically just look to kill him. They don't get a flash out, but the kill is certainly going to work out in their favor.
Yeah, somebody who did get a flash while we were in that replay, Caps managed to tag Amazing with a W. Insta-flash from Amazing into his jungle. And now he will be flashless for any of those very long-range engages. So we've got this sort of wonky setup in CS. Vizicsacsi is starting to run away with top lane, already building up a sizable advantage. We'll have to keep an eye on the gold differences. It's plus 800 for Amazing in the jungle, and only plus 350 for Caps in the mid lane, thanks to that assist, and obviously all the bonus gold that Twisted Fate is picking up.
So one thing we also have to remember is the amount of scuttle crab control that both these teams have, because the idea as well behind this funnel strategy is you constantly gain priority over the middle lane, which makes it very much easier to walk into the river and secure the scuttle crab, which is a huge amount of gold, a nice amount of vision, and just a valuable amount of experience as well. So far, I believe like Fnatic have been able to secure 3 of the 4 that have spawned, and that lack of gold income that is going towards Schalke will really hurt them, especially these Caps now level 7, and is almost completing his first major.
Yeah, highest level in the game thus far, not by much. But let's see what Amazing and NukeDuck can do. Destiny is available for NukeDuck's Twisted Fate. Gold card is primed. I was waiting for the flash. Nothing to follow it though. Of course, there's no stand united for Vander. And actually there was no teleport for Vizicsacsi either, so not the most ideal situation for a sort of fight.
Yeah, Bwipo's TP is just about to come up. Chachi looking for a bit of a trade against the Singed. Very obnoxious once he does have that ultimate. It lasts for 25 seconds. That is a really long time to get all those bonus resistances.
It's like insanity in a potion.
It is. And who'd have thought that it would last so long? Now Chachi, he's being forced underneath his tower due to the amount of wave clear that Bwipo does have.
Yeah.
But his whole goal is to just keep the Renekton busy and keep him preoccupied.
I have seen Pyrotechnics play Singed in solo queue, and he's very proud of the feed to win strategy.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you need to do on that Singed. Get between 2 towers, disrupt the enemy laning phase. That means Chachi doesn't get any time to hammer away on Fnatic's top tower. But I'm going to bring us back to this funnel discussion, because the funnel seems to be pouring. Funnel seems to be working in Caps' favor. And maybe a small contest, you have a scuttle, but with consume and double smite,
Yep.
it's not really much of a contest, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And now Caps is level 8. Fortunately, NukeDuck has been keeping up in terms of the farm as well. He is a little bit behind in the farm department, obviously, because that's kind of what you'd expect. But it's the goal that we really need to keep track of and how the itemization goes along.
Fortunately, because this Twisted Fate and the passive gives you that extra gold per
That's true.
CS. NukeDuck, yes, he is still behind, 350, but you've got to look at the impacts everywhere else. Broxah is down 1,000 gold to amazing.
Yes.
Now, Nunu is somewhat of a blood boil bot.
Yes.
Especially
And a smite bot as well.
A consume smite bot, in fact.
Exactly.
Next level, Vedius.
Yep.
He has 2 spells he can use that are valuable.
Yes, and now, ooh, amazing, has to be careful. Ulti is up, teleport is up as well from the side of Schalke.
Take a look at this. Mega Adhesive comes down. Whoa, amazing! With the face plant. That was a little embarrassing.
It's
Saw that.
The grounding, of course, prevents you
There
from
you
doing
go.
that second
There
dash.
you go.
So he literally he used it against the wall and he's like, I'm stuck, I can't get off the wall.
The animation on this Camille skin was just like
Literally just
floating.
crotch glued to the wall. Like, I can't move.
I truly wish you could all see Vedius because he actually did that to the caster.
Now, look at Amazing, look at Amazing.
Let's see where he goes. All right, Amazing's going to get stands united. Puts the baby cage down on Caps, and Caps is obliterated.
Another clean kill coming in from Schalke. They read the movement from Fnatic very, very easily. They find themselves another advantage. And let's just look at the overall gold, because Schalke are sitting at about 2,500 in their favor right now.
Man, such a phenomenal start. It's not the same way. Misfits looked to beat Fnatic yesterday, but Schalke approaching 10 minutes. They farmed themselves up a lead, an advantageous position. And something I really like about the Twisted Fate into not only Fnatic's comp, but Kai'Sa specifically, that Destiny is going to help out. Make sure you can jump on anybody hiding in bushes if Nunu's trying to charge that ultimate up, or try to prevent Bwipo from surprising you if you feel under any threat.
Yeah, and we got to go back to the draft a little bit as well, because one of the big things we were discussing was, oh, their focus is going to be on the bot lane. They want to try and punish the fact that there is no AD carry down there, and maybe they can secure an early tower and start snowballing the game out of control, but they haven't really put any attention onto the bot lane. Their whole focus has been on shutting down Caps, which is the same strategy that Misfits pulled off themselves yesterday, just in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
They didn't go for like early invades of the jungle. They didn't try to deny Camps. They literally just went for constant ganks and constant opportunities to try and shut Caps down and allow NukeDuck to still be relevant and keep up in gold.
3,000 gold. NukeDuck has finished off that Lichbane. Taking a look through some of the rest of the itemization, it's the first major item completed thus far. Schalke on the verge of taking that tower in the mid lane. First time we're going to see that one coming up. Now, how do you expect these next 5 to 10 minutes to play out? Schalke have got access to their globals. They've got the teleports, the Stand United, the TF ulti, and they've got, honestly, quite a few lanes they could jump on if they wanted to.
Yeah, I feel like that Schalke's main goal in the next couple of minutes will be to try and secure themselves the Rift Herald. I think it's a really big objective that will allow them to siege pretty effectively up against Fnatic's composition, which, to be fair, does have a decent amount of wave clear. The other options that they do have are trying to look for a dive towards the bottom side of the map. They do have quite a few engaged tools and a couple of options to collapse down onto this double support role, but they have a few options, whereas if you're Fnatic, you just want to keep farming. Rageblade hasn't even yet been completed for Caps, so he's waiting for that big item spike. Once it is, then they can look for a couple more fights, but ideally you want things like the Ardent Sensor completed as well, and more AP.
Plasma. Caps is going to jump in with the help of the Black Shield. NukeDuck gets a gold card out because the shield timed out. Amazing! Puts the tactical sweep to the face of Caps. 4 kills to 0.
Amazing, looking amazing as he locks down Caps in the ultimate, and Schalke secure another kill. 0-3 on the hyper carry of Fnatic, and Schalke continue to extend their lead.
First blood in the game. Tower first blood. 4 kills to 0. Schalke are running away with this game. We've not looked at Chachi and Bwipo for a while, but that's plus 50 CS in the top lane. That's a 1,300 gold advantage for Vizicsacsi and Vedius. There's the Rift Herald you were talking about. There's going to be even more tools for Schalke. Rageblade just picked up for upset, and excuse the pun, but the cards are falling in Schalke's favor.
They certainly are. I'm really impressed with how Schalke are just playing against this composition, because we all knew about Taric Master Yi coming into the meta. everyone was complaining about how when you funnel into this hyper carry, that they become a big problem. And while we've seen variations, we've seen Braum Grazed, we've seen Nunu Karthus, we've seen so many different types of the same strat, it was all about how do you shut that down? How do you stop this from getting out of control? And we've seen one style from Misfits, we're now seeing another style from Schalke. And their whole goal has been amazing on the Camille, locking the Kai'Sa in place, chain CC from like Varus, Shen, Twisted Fate, Renekton, and then all the follow-up damage to kill them before the support can come in to turn things around.
But you know what I love? It's not only just on the execution side, Vedius, but when we saw the funnel strat coming in, and it was given away fairly early on the side of Fnatic, the Twisted Fate comes in, the Renekton comes in as a counter. We thought Shen was going to go top lane until the very last pick.
Yep.
So teams that have thought about this funneling, thought about how to interrupt the funneling, thought of ways to play, we see now two different distinct styles. And also going back to comfort. NukeDuck has played TF many times, many years ago. Vizicsacsi was once famous for his top lane bruiser play. And you can just see the comfortability, you know, coming to fruition in this game.
And 6,000 gold now sits in the favor of Schalke. For those that aren't familiar with the funnel strat, that's not really ideal.
That's the opposite.
That's kind of the opposite.
You've missed the funnel and it's landed in Schalke's bucket.
Yeah, because you look at levels as well. This is what we talked about. NukeDuck level 11, Caps level 11. Broxah level 7 to Amazing's level 9. So you now have a relevant jungler versus an irrelevant jungler who's all enabled about trying to set up Caps for success. You have a relevant AD carry against another support in the bottom lane. And sure, Caps could still be a big carry. You still have so many shields and so many options all built up to make him insanely strong, insanely tanky, but Schalke have drafted this composition which is like, we're going to lock you in place and not ever let you do any damage ever. And now it all comes down to execution for Fnatic, because Schalke have full control.
Yes.
Schalke are the ones dictating the pace of the game, and Fnatic are going to have to find some way to win out on these later fights.
Ooh, it's going to be very, very tough. On the bright side, they do have some scaling. You know, the fact that Singe, Nunu, Kai'Sa are going to become frustrating if the game goes long enough. And that's the real question here. I mean, Schalke are just not giving any opportunities. The third outer tower fell. You see they picked up that Rift Herald. It's still sitting with Amazing. Dragon goes the way of Schalke thus far, on path for a perfect game, which would be the first of the summer split.
Wow.
If it were to happen.
Wow,
But,
you certainly called that extremely early, QuickShot.
you know
Always
what?
a dangerous thing to do.
Do you know what? At 15 minutes with every objective and a Shen TF, I think the tools are there, right? I think the tools are there to be proactive enough. Jump on the squishies and always have an advantage.
Yeah, definitely can see that. But for now, Schalke is still in full control. Such a great game from Schalke, especially when we look back to yesterday where they were struggling in the early game. One of the things that Amazing did say in his interviews was that he recognizes how much harder it is to play at a high level and also control the team. And while I'm sure he can be vocal, it's another thing to then be able to coordinate and shot call while also keeping your mechanics at a high level. And it seems that they've came in much calmer. They came up with a clean game plan. They seem to execute upon it very, very smoothly.
Yep.
And Schalke have just been playing very, very well against the current champions of Europe.
And not buying into the hype. There's been so much talk around the meta and the patch, and I'm actually a little bit personally tilted by some of the sentiment that AD carries were dead. Because every game I watch with good AD carries playing from a good position, this isn't a great example, I'm thinking more like the Hunt Summer games from earlier, you can see how impactful they are. And when you know the skill cap that Rekkles does have, it's a little frustrating.
I'm sure.
To see this type of game. But, Fnatic still have an opportunity. They've got their inner turrets to fall back to. They've got defensive vision all the way through their base, which you can see Hylissang is actually defending as well. And I guess Baron's the linchpin. If Fnatic can find a way to interrupt or slow or stall that out, that's how they buy some time.
I mean, right now, Schalke are just playing the map very cleanly. They have the 1-2-1 setup, they have priority in mid, note how they're using that to then gain control over the top side of the jungle where they have the Rift held. They also have multiple members to try and keep it alive, but now we see Fnatic on the attack.
All right, Vizicsacsi forced to use that dominance just to stay alive, and he's shut down. Could not escape the damage from Fnatic. That's the first kill for the defending champions, as well as cancelling the opportunity for a perfect game.
But Schalke, they respond in kind regardless. Yes, Chachi, he overextended a little bit. He did have his flash that he chose not to use, but it was that 1-3-1 we were already talking about. Schalke had set up the bot wave because they knew they had Rift Herald top, they had priority in mid, and so even though Fnatic get a kill, they don't really get much else off the back of it.
No, Schalke, they got the town, they got a lot of damage. We're getting close to 20 minutes now, and it is still a phenomenal lead for Schalke, plus 7k. Keep your eyes on the minimap. You can see the crossplay, despite the fact that Vizicsacsi goes down.
So the problem for Chachi is he gets grounded, and he doesn't use his...
Slice and dice?
Yeah, he doesn't use the slice and dice early enough. He should have just flashed the moment he saw caps. He disrespected the amount of damage output, and he ends up losing his life.
Yeah, I mean, that grounded has become very pivotal. I was mentioning the time limit. If you look at Broxah, he's got himself 37 CS. He's worth 3,700 gold. His opponent's worth 6,200. Broxah's personal worst CS score at 20 minutes is 25.
Wow.
The record for EULCS is in fact 12. Ooh, it actually gets worse than what this is right now, which is scary. And it's just going to be so difficult for Broxah to be impactful as this game plays out.
Wait a minute. The worst record is just going to be a support that never last hits.
It probably could be.
Yeah, so we'd have to look at junglers.
Let me specify, I misspoke. Thank you for catching that one, Vedius. The lowest CS for a jungler.
Okay.
At 20 minutes. Also known as Cold versus Joker, and you can see the CC really locking down Bwipo. Didn't get a chance to do anything. Was instantly taken out.
And Schalke, they want to pad out their farm of how many crazy scientists they can take down, and so far the kill mark is 2.
Yeah.
As Bwipo has now been taken down a couple of times, and Schalke, they're just utilizing this pick composition that they have, you know, with you have the Twisted Fate, you have the Camille, there's a plenty of lockdown, we've already talked about how much single target CC that they have,
yes.
And the moment they catch someone out of position, it's almost guaranteed to be a kill.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Upset's build as well. Gone for that Nash's Tooth, not the Rage Blade, so not coming the Blade of the Rune King yet. If at all.
AP Varus, definitely something we've been seeing a lot more recently. It stacks very nicely with the Rage Blade. You also have the Blight stacks that scale with AP. There was a hilarious guide on Reddit like a month ago that basically talked about full AP Varus, which ironically then ended up becoming meta. It was on about mid lane where you basically just one-shot with the ult, because when your ult applies to multiple targets too, it applies to full stacks.
Yep.
So when you prop it, then it does basically tons of damage.
It's a lot.
Yes.
HP-based burst is absolutely terrifying. And Schalke have just got gigantic item advantages really everywhere. I mean, Rekkles, by the way, just picked up the Ardent Sensor to complete, has completed along with that Luden's Echo. So it's more tools, it's more ways to buff up Caps' Kai'Sa, who, by the way, just has the QSS and Rage Blade. If you were to put a timer on when this Fnatic composition would be terrifying, think about it and let me know. Upset with a very early flash to run away. But yeah, at what minute or what item breakpoint do you think this Kai'Sa becomes truly, quote-unquote, unkillable?
Level 16 and now.
Right.
Basically, Caps is in prime position to really start carrying games. But the bigger issue is just the gold deficit the Fnatic find themselves in. If the gold was slightly closer and it was like a 2 or 3k deficit, I'd still count Fnatic as big favorites, but they're just going to rush the Baron. There have been pings that have gone down from Schalke. They have a teleport up on Chachi. Can they respond? I don't think they can.
I don't know if they can. Now remember, the Baron does go down earlier. There's the smite already used. Consumes available. Baron picked up by Fnatic, but at what cost? Destiny's used by NukeDuck. Where is the gate opened? NukeDuck decides not to follow it, and golf claps here from Berlin. Tentative excitement as Fnatic secure a sneaky Baron.
Very quick. You already talked about the double smite, but now they might be after more as they found Chachi.
Yeah, they do. Chachi, I think, was grounded just at the end there, and just to survive a few seconds longer. Not only the Baron, a kill onto Chachi and the gold to Caps.
So now Schalke have to respond very quickly because Fnatic, they have a big minion wave up top. They have the Baron, they have Caps with them. Schalke are just responding by running towards the middle lane. They're stacking that wave. They want to apply some pressure. And Rekkles is just hanging around as wave clear and to provide Baron-empowered minions to slow them down.
Since the beginning of the EULCS, Fnatic have never lost all of their Week 1 games. Ever. And it looks like they want to try and continue that trend. It would be a monumental comeback in a meta around the world where we are not seeing a lot of comebacks. And it's going to be key, pivotal for Caps to stay alive. He also is going the AP route.
Yes.
Got that Nash's Tooth, not really a big surprise.
There are a couple of patch changes that happen to Kai'Sa, particularly to her E, where the Runan's Hurricane doesn't help proc the reduction on how often she can use it, and now her Q is also AoE damage. So many prefer to go for the full AP build. With the Rage Blade, your auto still hit a lot. It scales nicely with the Plasma too, so everything looks pretty good in the side of AP Kai'Sa.
Yeah, AP Kai'Sa definitely being a thing. And in terms of the rest of the itemizations, you can see the Void Staff picked up for NukeDuck along with Umbrella Nomicon, and now the tower's going to fall from Fnatic. As Bwipo is now with the... Look at that damage onto Chachi. The Cathian Rain does so much damage. Tower's going to go down again. Caps has got access to that killer instinct, so if he finds a juicy target, Chain of Corruption starts to spread. So Bwipo flies through the base, picks up Upset, and chucks him into Fnatic's waiting hand. Killer Instinct is still available. The Inhibitor's the next target. Baron empowered minions help take down the Inhib, and it's 29 seconds on Upset's life.
Caps is looking to be the big carry for Fnatic as Schalke go for a last agenda.
All right, Bwipo's the one that gets taunted up, chugged down, ignited. He's now running for his life. The Insanity Potion has worn off, but without Upset's damage, Schalke need to find a key pick to burst down. Amazing is still running. He's just, I didn't even see him die. Instantly blown up. The Nexus turrets are the focus. Fnatic, we're losing this game for 23 minutes. Kai'Sa is online, and Fnatic destroy Schalke, destroy the Nexus, and Fnatic win from behind.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the final strat. Level 16, Rage Blade with the first jungle item completed.
Vedius, I asked you at what time Kai'Sa would be able to take over the game. I congratulate and applaud you on your correct prediction.
I was pretty pleased saying right now, then immediately they go for Baron. To be fair, we did not talk about how quick their Baron was, and they proved to us it was so fast.
Yep.
They just knocked through it. They had the double spike. They also had the consume. With the Baron, they were then able to just very quickly retake over the map, and Schalke could not find those picks anymore. Schalke looks so good for the first 15 to 20 minutes of this game.
Yes.
And then immediately the flip over happens from Fnatic.
I really appreciate that. As the handshakes are going down the line, Upset with a gigantic smile on his face, because that ending was bonkers. That ending was as crazy as this meta appears to be. Just an instant turn of the dial. Now it's interesting because yes, it feels bad. It sucks to lose. But when you watch the first 20 minutes of gameplay, Schalke did everything right.
Yes.
Their roams were good, their ganks were good, their map play was good. A momentary lapse in judgment on the new Baron, the weaker Baron, the easier to kill Baron, ends up costing them the game.
And you could make the argument that Schalke, with the lead that they had, should have been the ones trying to force the Baron, because in the position that they were in, they had like an 8,000 gold lead.
Yes, they did.
And they should have just set up around the Baron and said, listen, we know we're stronger than you, come fight us. And then they wouldn't have been able to lose that objective. But it's like, it's very nitpicky. We have to go back and watch it. And as you rightly said, it was just a momentary lapse in judgment that Fnatic very quickly took advantage of.
Vedius, we have to step back from the micro, step back from the teams. Let's remove the people from this equation. Funnel strats.
Yes.
Do you like it or not?
I mean, I think it's really strong. The thing is, because the responsibility is on the other team to stop it from working. Because it basically boils down to just put loads of gold onto one carry who you know can be a hyper carry.
Yep.
So as long as you don't lose, that champion is going to get stronger, right?
Okay.
Like, as long as you don't lose, this champion is going to be really, really strong. So it is the responsibility of the enemy team to make them lose. And so you have to keep the pressure up. You have to be constantly playing proactively. You have to be denying farm. You have to be looking for picks. You have to be setting up vision control. The responsibility falls on you.
Right.
And so that's what I don't like about it, in that it seems like there's very little effort on your part, the one who's playing the funnel strategy.
Fair. I get that.
I feel like that a lot of it is simply just play safe, just farm, don't need to make any proactive plays. Sure, we can lose all of our outer towers, and as long as we still have access to the gold, then we're not too upset about it. So, sure, you need an aspect of being good at the game and having good awareness, but for the most part, I just feel like that you don't actually have to do very much.
On that bombshell, we have Caps, Hylissang, and Broxah fighting for player of the game. Head over to @LOL eSports on Twitter. Vote for who you think will be player of the game. Who's your vote?
I mean, it was Caps. He did all the work.
We're going to send it to the analyst desk to take a look at exactly how Fnatic won the game.
Well then, a lot of interesting things. Let me first summarize. Kind of what Vedius said is that it's up to the enemy team to make sure that they
shut it down.
Over the game and shut it down. And you don't have to do anything, just not lose. You said I disagree with everything. So tell me why.
Because of course you have to do a lot of things. Like the whole goal for Fnatic in this game was to have Singe top lane with some pressure so that Schalke couldn't just like blind invade 24/7. But because Singe messes up level 1 and dies, that pressure is gone. Caps dies 3-4 times in the early game because he's completely misplaying. And obviously then you fall really far behind. Like the idea with the gold funneling strat is not to sit back and fall behind 7-8k gold. The idea is actually that you have a player getting really far ahead in the game so that he's a constant threat and the enemy team do not just get all the turrets, all the kills, because then you are supposed to lose.
Supposed to lose.
Do not give result-based analysis here and say that Fnatic had this under control and played this right. They did not.
They were just as surprised as we were, I think, that they actually won that game.
They were just like,
yeah, Bwipo's on stage like, guys, we just got away with murder.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. And why? We're going to take a look just exactly how Schalke shut down Fnatic effectively. Got thousands of gold leads. And I have to say, Bwipo shut himself down a bit in this first one. But that's all we can say.
So it was really well played from Bwipo at the start. He took the sweeper to get that early level 2 spike that Vizicsacsi did not respect. The issue was that he flashed just a little bit too far, got himself caught under the tower.
Yeah, that was unnecessary in what is actually a fine matchup for him. And then look around the mid lane here. A roam from Vander from the bottom side is not called. Bam, there's a kill. Okay, that's a mistake now on Fnatic's side. Good proactive play. This continues. Now they have no vision on the top side. They get surprised by Amazing. And this is what happens when you actually misplay this comp. You end up falling this far down.
Exactly, and I love the draft from Schalke too. The globals of the Shen and the Twist of Fate and the early playmaking of the Camille allowed them to go for these early scrappy plays where they just kept killing Caps and shutting him down.
And then,
no.
It is not often...
Look at this, by the way.
Yeah, that's not often you win the game when that happens. It is rare I see a team with a 7.4k.
Nope, this is today.
Oh, here's the news. Sorry, an 8,000 gold lead. Give up Baron control at 21 minutes into the game, and then get surprised when the enemy team rushes Baron at 21 minutes. You have an 8k gold lead.
I do have to say though,
What?
It's crazy, but you remember quick stats at the start of the day?
Oh, good.
Fnatic now have a 50% win rate when they have a deficit at 15 minutes.
But the moment that a Baron goes down, it's actually all in Fnatic's favor.
Okay.
It doesn't matter all of a sudden that Schalke got so far ahead because the composition now has Kai'Sa being strong, has multiple shields, Ardent Sensor, Nunu Blood Boil. So they're going to walk into a team fight. TF can't do anything against that. Renekton dies in like, what, 2 seconds or something? Because he's obviously building a ton of damage. 21-minute Baron control being gone. Like, Schalke are pissed. They are so mad at the moment they let this happen.
Come on, that was just awful.
Yeah, Schalke's comp needed to have the advantage the entire game so they could go into side lanes with the Renekton and the Twisted Fate, pressure the map, because when they lose Baron, they have no way to clear the waves, no way to actually look for picks with the composition because the Morgana is going to be on top of this Kai'Sa. Didn't work out.
I want to follow up on both Fnatic and Schalke in just a bit. I do want to button up this game, and we're going to take a look at the final fight brought to you by Acer Predator. As said, Fnatic already got the Baron, and then here it goes.
Oh, man. Yep, they get this one, and at this point, it's Fnatic's game. Goal lead doesn't matter because you can group as 5, and the whole TF globals, you know, applying pressure, creating picks with Camille, it's gone.
Yeah, Upset didn't have the flash in that last fight too, so when you see a Singed running at you, he didn't have any support either to gold card him, tried to stop him. Upset was caught out with nowhere to go.
But I guess in the end, 50% win rate on the funnel gold into Caps strategy. So I assume that is what Fnatic was aiming for.
Fnatic on patch 8.11, you can pick a support for your AD carry, and well, gold difference doesn't seem to matter because you can win regardless.
I'm still sad we we get the double support bot lane, because I think this strategy could actually get better if you had more pressure from the bottom
This
side.
is what I want to ask you about, because yesterday, you know, Caps alluded to the fact that Rekkles wanted to stick by his guns and pick these kinds of things. But when you think of a small alteration could make such a difference in the comp, don't you then have to push him as a coach to make those changes?
I think you absolutely have to. The one thing I will say to counter the more aggressive bot lane from Fnatic when you're running the strategy, the idea of that is that you can't have any support from it. So if you do have a shoving lane, you will be punished by the other team. And I think that's why they're going for these supportive
It's fair.
camps.
Rekkles dealt 723 damage to champions here, but he was never in the game.
He did less than Nunu.
He literally didn't enter the game until they took the Baron. That gold graph, insane.
Yeah,
like you
insanity.
do not see this into bam like this.
Yes, and especially since we're in a current meta where if teams get ahead, we know it is incredibly difficult to stop them. They basically straight run down your base. That is
Right.
why, for me, I know this is only the first 2 games in the Summer LCS with Amazing, so with a new configuration for Schalke. Regardless, I think this is inexcusable.
Losing in this game was inexcusable, yes.
Right. They did show yesterday, though, that the early game was an issue. The late game was where it kicked off.
Yes.
This time, it was the complete other story. So if they can pick and choose the parts that worked for them, that would be
I
great.
guess.
I agree, because it's a 1-1 in the end on the week, so don't be as negative as us generally, and also...
I'm just shocked. I'm actually shocked.
I know you're shocked, especially because you voted for Schalke to win, and he bested
I
you
felt
once
great.
again.
At 10 minutes, he literally said to me, "Great pick, congratulations, you got this." When they'd already killed Caps like the 3rd time or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'm not proud of
He's
my
like,
prediction
can I
being
change
correct.
my vote? Can I change my vote? No.
I never said that.
Stick to
I
your
never.
guns.
You guys want to know the worst thing?
What?
I tweeted that this strategy will not work and they need to stop making the other players useless. I had this feeling inside of me when I tweeted it, like, this is the one that really backfires. This is the one where they win and everyone is like, ha, 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 ha. So when I check my phone in about, 1 minute, it's going to be spammed down.
Oh, I
People
love
be like,
it. Maybe this is like the whole summer split. It's gonna be like this. He's gonna be wrong every single game. Yes, and
It's great. He's already
I
2
consider-
predictions behind me.
Love it.
It's fantastic.
I deserve a point for that prediction.
Anyway, it's not
That
about
game
us.
was over.
It's not about us. It's about the players. It's about players like Caps, player of the game, 74% of the votes. Of course, if your AD carry is doing 700 damage in the entire game, it's not that hard. to
Yeah,
be
I'm not
player
sure
of
if
the game.
Fnatic beat Schalke or if Caps beat Schalke.
Or Schalke beat Schalke.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different possibilities, Shock.
God, we are definitely riled up. This is the player of the game. We need to take a breather. We're also going to talk to Dylan Falco after the break. He's going to join us for the picks and bans for Splice versus
All
G2.
planned.
It's going to be a funnel strategy. He's going to propose to us.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll be back after this.